North Korea conducted a new round of missile tests this week. At the same time, U.S. forces in South Korea began deploying a controversial new missile defense system. We spoke with Bruce Klingner, a former CIA deputy division chief for Korea, about some supporting Congress for a preemptive strike.
We should always be very worried about North Korea. As some on the peninsula have said, we're always, sort of a second away from a crisis. 4 U.S. four-star generals think North Korea already has, or we have to assume they have for planning purposes, the ability to hit the United States today with a nuclear weapon.
That sounds daunting.
It is. That's why you have growing discussion or perhaps advocacy for preemptive attacks.
All right, well, at the beginning of the year, before his inauguration, President Trump tweeted about North Korea's efforts to build and deploy nuclear long-range missile. He said, quote, "It won't happen." Is the president right to make a promise like that?
The problem is we don't know what he meant. Even Rex Tillerson, his Secretary of State, during his confirmation hearings, he was asked, does that mean Mr. Trump simply doesn't think North Korea can do it? And he said, well, it could mean that. And then they said, Mr. Tillerson, do you think he's drawn a red line that he might use military force? And he said, well, I don't think he meant that, but he could mean that too.
So there's no way of knowing if that's a red line?
That's a problem with trying to do policy by tweets. It leads itself to misinterpretation.
What have been some of the other administration's missteps in handling North Korea, and what could President Trump do differently on that front?
Well, I think we first have to identify that there's no administration, no political party has a monopoly on good or bad ideas on North Korea. Experts have been trying to solve North Korea for decades, so we need to realize that North Korea is the problem. It's not a specific U.S. administration.
President Bush's administration removed North Korea from the list of state sponsors of terrorism.
Correct.
That was in an effort to get them to play along a little bit. Is it time they go back on that list?
I think it is. There's actually been really a long list of actions by North Korea since they were removed from the list in 2008, which I believe qualifies them for that. That's been shipments of conventional arms to terrorist groups like Hezbollah and Hamas. There have been attempted assassinations or successful assassinations of North Korean defectors in South Korea and Russia and China and now Malaysia. Also, if we think back to when North Korea conducted a cyber hack on the Sony studio, not only was it the hacking, it was the threats of 9/11 style attacks on any theater and theater goers that went to see the movie The Interview. That's a threat of a terrorist act.
President Obama, reportedly on his way out of office, had warned incoming President Trump that this was going to be one of his greatest concerns, if not one of his top priorities. Was that a fair assessment?
I think it's very fair. North Korea really is a broad spectrum of military threat. It's got the nuclear weapons, it's got the missile means to deliver them, as well as deliver conventional high explosive warheads. It also has 5,000 tons of chemical agent, we estimate. It has a biological weapons program. It has a 1 million-man army forward deployed near the demilitarized zone bordering South Korea. South Korea's capital, Seoul, is within artillery range of perhaps 10,000 artillery systems. North Korea also is a counterfeiter of our currency. It produces and distributes illegal drugs, money laundering. It really is sort of...
It's a long list.
It's sort of Don Corleone with nuclear weapons.
A footnote: at a recent White House dinner for a small group of journalists, President Trump told me and others the North Korea situation, quote, has to be dealt with soon, very soon.